This is the story of the disbelievers, the background of Surah Al-Kafiroon.
Look at them, the sons of Quraysh, walking away from the gods of their fathers.
They left the ways that fed them, the names that gave them honor. For what? For one unseen Lord?
Their pride spoke loudly, not to search for truth, but to protect their own certainty. They did not truly want guidance. They only wanted to prove themselves right.
If his Lord truly speaks to him, then let him show us a sign. One miracle, just one, for all of Mecca to see. Yes, we want a sign, something real, not just words.
Yes! Yes!
They asked for signs not because they wanted faith, but because they feared losing their control and power. For them, believing meant giving up everything they owned and ruled. The Qur'an came as an answer to this arrogance. This was Surah Al-Kafiroon. In many Muslim homes, children are taught to memorize the Qur'an word by word, verse by verse, even if they do not fully understand it. Among the short chapters, Surah Al-Kafiroon is always included. Because of this, the Qur'an often remains on people's tongues, but not always in their hearts. It is said this surah was revealed to clearly separate belief from disbelief, drawing a firm line between people. The disbelievers were the ones Allah addressed. They even offered the Prophet a deal.
We offered him that. 1 year our gods and 1 year your Lord. It's a fair trade.
But what kind of peace is made by sharing worship? What made them think the messenger of Allah would ever agree? The surah came with words that shut every door of compromise, and its purpose was to make this boundary clear. Before Quraysh offered deals and promises, they first offered pain and punishment. Before trying wealth and comfort, they used whips and cruelty. In the early days of Mecca, believing was dangerous, and every believer paid a price through blood, sweat, or silent fear. Under the burning sun, believers whispered their faith while the city shouted against them.
Hide your faith, my son. If they hear what you pray, they will take you away.
The disbelievers burned their backs with hot iron, threw stones at them while they prayed, mocked them when they cried, and laughed when they forgave. They used pain when words failed, and fear when mockery failed. But the fire they lit only purified those who stayed firm.
Even torture could not silence them.
What makes us think gold will?
When fear and pain failed to break the believers, the chiefs of Quraysh changed their plan. If fear could not stop faith, maybe comfort and honor could. Surah Al-Kafiroon was revealed in Mecca at a time when Quraysh's pride was turning into desperation. Their trade was strong and their names were powerful, but the message of one man was shaking everything they had built.
Every season more of our people follow him. They speak his verses in the streets. His words divide us, Walid.
His words spread like fire among the tribes. We can't let this stand.
The leaders gathered at Dar al-Nadwa, the council hall where important decisions of Mecca were made. Men such as Walid ibn al-Mughira, Utbah ibn Rabi'a, and others sat together discussing survival, not faith. They suggested offering him power, wealth, position, and respect, anything that would make him leave their gods alone. A final decision was made that a delegation would meet the Prophet Muhammad at dawn to bargain, reason, and try to buy silence with promises, believing they were saving Mecca, while in reality, they were only trying to protect their own authority.
If words cannot stop him, then honor can.
The next morning, 3 men left Dar al-Nadwa, carrying a message they believed could finish every dispute. Walid ibn al-Mughira, Utbah ibn Rabi'a, and As ibn Wa'il, the leading voices of Quraysh, walked toward the messenger of Allah, not with swords, but with friendly smiles.
Muhammad, you are one of us, our blood, our kin. If it is honor you seek, we will make you our chief.
Wealth, until no one in Mecca would be richer than him, and marriage to any woman he desired. They promised to give him whatever he wished if he would only stop speaking against their gods, and they would also stop speaking against his. They spoke like friends, but thought like traders, offering peace as if it were a business deal. They wanted him to exchange his firm belief for comfort and ease. He listened quietly and patiently, and when they finished, he said nothing. Walid, seeing that offers of wealth and power had failed, tried one last desperate compromise they had discussed secretly.
Then let there be a balance, a fair trade. We worship your Lord for 1 year, and you worship ours.
They tried to put a price on his conviction, but the Prophet still said nothing and simply stood up and left. His silence was not weakness or doubt, but the weight of truth before it speaks. There was no reply, no argument, and no rejection, only silence.
Did he accept? No, no one knows. He just walked away.
Rumors spread through the city that lived on news and gossip. Some thought he might agree and peace would return, while others feared that if he refused, Mecca would never be calm again.
If he accepts, the quarrels will end.
And if he refuses, peace will never be settled.
But he was not waiting for them. He was waiting for what would come from above, for a command greater than any council or king. That night, the chiefs of Quraysh waited for his answer, not knowing that the answer was already on its way. In their homes, they waited for a word that could end the tension and confirm peace. Soon the waiting ended. The Prophet was called again to Dar al-Nadwa, the same hall built by his forefathers, now filled with men afraid of losing their power and status. They welcomed him.
Welcome, Muhammad. You have made us wait too long. We were wondering if your Lord was still considering our offer. Tell us, what have you decided? Will you divide Mecca forever?
They asked for his personal choice, but the decision had already been sent. He did not speak from himself. He spoke from what Allah had revealed. His reply was Surah Al-Kafiroon. The words reached them like thunder. No compromise, no middle ground, no sharing of gods. They reacted with anger and shock.
You have humiliated us, insulted us, and separated yourself from us forever!
The surah fell upon Mecca like a storm, drawing a clear divine line between belief and disbelief, between those who bow only to Allah and those who bow to everything else. This was not simple defiance. It was truth refusing to bend. From that day, the valley of Mecca was never the same again. Morning came, but the calm of the night had ended. Peace did not return. What began as quiet whispers in small alleys soon turned into loud talk in the streets. People said he had insulted their fathers and called the noble elders of Quraysh disbelievers. The words of Allah had drawn a clear line, and for men who lived by their family names and idols, nothing hurt more than being told they were wrong. They said they could not fight every verse he recited, but they could fight how people understood it. So they decided to use the marketplace and public opinion.
He is dividing families, breaking our peace, and insulting the gods tied to our trade.
They whispered that his message would ruin Mecca's pilgrimage and business, meaning no pilgrims and no income. The same voices that once offered peace now spread doubt, turning truth into scandal and revelation into rumors. They had lost the argument, but they still controlled the markets, and for a time, that was enough to bury the truth under noise. When their words failed again, they turned to another weapon: silence. This silence came through locked doors, empty markets, and broken family ties. It started with a written document placed inside the Kaaba, declaring that no one in Mecca should trade with, speak to, or marry anyone who followed the Prophet. Some even said if the boycott failed, then only his death would remain as a solution. With this decision, the valley of Abu Talib became like a prison for the believers. There was no trade, no visitors, and no mercy. People ate leaves, and the cries of hungry children echoed between the rocks. Yet faith did not die in that silence. Every hardship became proof of loyalty, and every empty stomach became a sign of truth. The Quraysh sealed their agreement with ink and pride, but Allah had already sealed his promise, because truth, once spoken, cannot be starved or destroyed. This was the message of the Qur'an, a message that spoke to Quraysh then and still speaks to people now. Surah Al-Kafiroon was not revealed to divide people, but to draw a clear line between faith and falsehood, between compromise and strong belief. It taught that peace is possible, but not at the cost of truth. It taught respect for every person without surrendering one's identity and beliefs. The Prophet showed that faith is not something to be traded, not for wealth, not for safety, and not for acceptance. This surah ended confusion and began a clarity that would last forever. It was not only a message for Quraysh, but for every believer who would ever face the choice between pleasing people and standing firm on truth. It is the Qur'an, the word that continues to draw the line between darkness and light. In the end, the video asks viewers to give love and support to the Islamic Stories channel by liking and sharing the message. It thanks people for their kind comments and ends with a farewell greeting of peace, looking forward to the next story.